My chair sounds like a Wookiee from Star Wars. Hello, I'm Olivia, and today we're going to talk about the art of shutting up. Since I got my eyesight about 8 years ago now, I've had the opportunity to experience a lot of new things. And some of the things that I've experienced have been really great. Some of the things I've experienced have not been so great. Right after my eye surgery, I moved to Los Angeles by myself, did not know anything. I didn't even know how to use a washing machine. And that was because I was raised in a religious cult and there was a few other things that was isolating me. It wasn't just disability. But the thing I'm focusing on now in my journey is shutting up, using silence, not explaining yourself. I don't explain myself to anyone now because I find that when you explain yourself, you're automatically placing yourself at a lower level as the other person. And people like you and me may look at people and be like, oh, I would always see people as equals. I'm going to be kind to other people. Yes, that was what I thought when I moved out here. Not everyone is like me. And not everyone is like you. What I discovered is I had to be more intentional about protecting myself because I've gotten taken advantage of so many times. The last year in 2025, this was the last straw for me as far as letting that happen. And one of the things I'm working on now is, like I said, being silent. It will improve your job, your personal life, and it'll just plain improve how people react to you. Because if you're not talking too much, over explaining yourself and putting yourself at a lower level, if you're not putting yourself at a lower level than other people, you're going to get more respect. I always hear, why aren't people respecting me? Well, it's because when you're talking, you're signaling weakness. I realize that there are people that simply are listening for things that they can take, completely distort, and use against you. I had such an experience like this with a former female friend last year, whereas we had many conversations at parties or at her place of business where I would go a lot of times. And these conversations were just about a bunch of different things. They could be about makeup. They could be about, places to eat. On one occasion, only one occasion, I shared with her a story about a customer service nightmare that I was going through where I wasn't able to get in touch with somebody at this company so that I could get what I had paid for. And this is like a 30-second story amidst hours of other conversations that I've had with this lady. Wouldn't you know it? But the next time or a few times later, I was hanging out with her and she says to me, oh, Olivia, I know that you always angry about customer service and you always have a problem with that. And I was like, whoa, this was one incident, a 30-second conversation about something that was completely not even a big factor in my life. It just came up in the conversation naturally. She took this thing, she blew it up, and then she used it to characterize my personality. The characterization might seem innocent, but it wasn't. It was negative because she was insinuating that I always had problems with people or businesses, which is absolutely not the case. I mean, I'm somebody that if I pay for something and I don't receive the product, I will fight for it. But it's not a case where I'm going to just start things with people. I'm not a Karen, that's not my vibe at all. So it didn't really faze me. It irritated me and I didn't know why. But later on, she completely turned on me and just started making all kinds of craziness up. And I don't know why that is, because I didn't do anything to her. But the point is that's her issue, where she is perceiving a certain way to justify whatever thing she's got going on. And unfortunately, what I've found is that there are more people like that than there are people who are going to accept you for who you are and be kind. What I learned the hard way is that not everyone is like me. Not everyone is like you. I go into a room and I'm like, wow, these are just friends waiting to be made. Oh, wow, what a nice person. Oh, her dress is so pretty. Not everyone thinks like that. Silence is really important, to listen and ask questions to the other person, to get to know them, to figure out if they are safe in order to give them more access to you. Now, a customer service issue, that's not something that's super private or anything, so that's not a big deal. But like the old me might have actually divulged more information to her about my personal life than I should have, and I would have trusted her too soon. So I'm always focused on making sure that I am safe around other people, because I don't want to deal with toxicity like that ever again. I ran into a problem like this at a former job that I had many years ago after I moved here. I had a cool boss. This cool boss would ask me all kinds of questions about what I would do after work and where did I hang out and things like that. And I think she was trying to ascertain how alternative I was, to try to see, are you hanging out at like punk shows? You hanging out at this? And I was kind of like vague. She was asking me if I knew this person or that person. And these people had professions that were not exactly professions you would talk about at work. And so I was like, oh, I'm not gonna, I don't know any of these people. I'm just, and I'm glad I did, because she turned on me later. She was looking for information to tarnish my reputation at work. And she became a nightmare boss. I actually had to resign without a job because she was such a nightmare. And I realized that silence is a huge weapon as well. It's a defense weapon. And for somebody with my background, having been raised blind and in a religious cult and things like that, it's not something that I've seen. What I've seen modeled in my life is, oh, I'm going to explain myself, or, oh, they must have it wrong. If I just tell them, they will understand me. No, that's not how the world works. And the other thing that you see when you come from, where I did in Pennsylvania is, you see people just like, oh, we'll just fight the person. I'm like, that's not something you can really do either as an adult. So I am working on taking back my power by talking less. I feel like they had a thing in Hamilton about that.
Let me offer you some free advice. Talk less, smile more.
Talk less, smile more. Doesn't mean you're fake. It means that you just wait longer than you normally would to open up to people so that you don't step into a toxic situation. Because once you step into that toxic situation, it's harder to get them out than it is to not let them in. I've got friends who have let people in too soon, and what happens is, they now have a stalker or somebody who's dangerous or has animosity toward them that they wouldn't normally have. That's the thing I am working on this week. I've seen too much. What is happening here? And by the way, can anyone tell me what this ginormous flower is? I'm drying flowers and I'm hanging them around my apartment to kind of liven the place up, because having been raised poor, I feel like, oh, I don't want to like buy the flowers and they die and then I throw them out. And now I'm like, this is a way I can get flowers and I can keep them longer. But let's see, I'll show you why. Every apartment has this, like, I feel like the one bathroom where it's just like gross, no matter what you do. I put that there. And I'm like, okay, that livens up a little bit. I'm trying to make a wreath thing that goes around this. I don't know if it's gonna work. It'll be better than it is. So yeah, that's why I'm doing that.